Okay, I don't know what time is. Okay, I have lost all sense of time. My rules. I obviously want to win. So the perfectly floppiness of this just makes me want to even more. Hey, hello team, my name is Meek. Welcome back to a new year of TBR Tombola. In case you didn't know, this is Bookwitch Reviews, my channel, and in 2019 I made a TBR game that I aptly named TBR Tombola, where I pull numbers from a bingo / tombola machine and then have prompts attached to each of these numbers. I then really desperately tried to fill out a bingo card, and then I said that with each line that I filled out I could buy a book. I bought books anyway, I never filled a line. So I have changed the rules so that there's slightly more chance of me actually winning. So yeah, let's walk through the rules. If you are not interested in these rules, please then skip this bit. I will leave a timestamp for when I actually pick my books out. But I'm going to go walk through the rules. I'm going to walk through the prompts. And if you ever want to play this game, please let me know. It will bring me great joy and I will pull numbers especially for you. But let me walk you through the rules. And first some iced coffee because I need it. 2022 team, who thought we would ever get here? But yes, like in October of 2019, 2 years ago, where did time go? I have no idea. Was it in? No, it's not in 2019. It's in 2020. But back then, I made some rules. There are not many rules, it's quite a simple game, but I have a few. So before I do the prompts, let's walk through them. First off, I pick 5 numbers out each month. It used to be more numbers, but I am trying to be better about certain things. So now I pick out 5 numbers each month that I have to try and read in that month. If I read the number, I am allowed to cross it out. If it is not on my bingo sheet, that's just too damn bad. And the reason I have changed the number from 7 to 5 is because of this. This is the arc jar. In here is every arc that I currently have that I have not yet read. There is a couple of like actual proofs that I have, and then I have a whole load of old NetGalley arcs in here that I desperately need to read. So until I have done so, until the arc jar is empty, I will only pick 5 numbers. If the arc that I choose can be attached to a prompt, that's great. I can do that, and then I am allowed to put it on the bingo sheet. Those are the rules. These are my rules. I obviously want to win. So yes, 5 books with a 6th one from in here. Obviously, I'm going to try and read the arcs before they've come out, but I currently only have 1 arc that is not out yet, and it's not out till June, so I have a little bit of time. But I have a whole lot of old ones, and even if it is for me to read the first couple of pages to just be like, this is not for me, DNF, just so that I can update my goddamn NetGalley, because I want to hit 80. I'm almost there, but I want to hit it. And also, I'm trying to put less pressure on reading this year. I obviously have not really succeeded, but we can at least try. The second rule is that if I have not read a book in the month that I picked it, I am not allowed to cross it out. This is a change from last year, but that is a rule. I can still read the book, but I'm not allowed to cross out the number for it. Rule number 3 is that I am allowed to change books after I have put up my TBR video because I would like to read what I want to read. I do what I want. And finally, rule number 4 is that if I have not read a book by the end of the month where I have picked it, I am allowed to pull it over into the next month, which will then add it to my 6 number TBR, or I am allowed to pull another number. I'm just going to try and read the books that I have, or if I want to leave them behind, then I have to pull another number. So we'll see how many books I end up with in the end. But yes, these are the rules. Let me read you the prompts. In the Tombola machine, there are balls numbered from 1 to 90, and I have split these up in 5 increments, and then each of these numbers have then attached itself to a specific prompt. So let me walk you through it real quick. Numbers 1 to 5 is Middlegrade. Numbers 6 to 10 is YA fantasy. Numbers 11 till 5 is paranormal or urban fantasy. Numbers 16 to 20 is continue a series. Numbers 21 to 25 is a chance card. The same chance card that I made myself last year. Each of these cards have a additional prompts attached to them. Look, I made them myself. Look at these fancy chance cards. Da-di-da-di-da. So there is hype book. There is tarot draw. That's a fun one. I haven't shown you guys yet. There's a hype book. Wait, is that double hype? More than one hype, apparently. Non-fiction read. Magical creatures. Blah, 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 blah. I pick a card out here, and then I read that, or I tried to attach that prompt anyway. Numbers 26 to 30 is sci-fi, and numbers 31 to 35 is high/epic fantasy. We then have 36 to 40, which is queer rep. 41 to 35 is friend recommendation. 46 to 50 is a mood read. This is a new one that I have added because I need to be allowed to do the mood thing. 51 to 55 is a new release. 56 to 60 is a contemporary fantasy or a magical realism. 61 to 65 is Ownvoices, which means that the author considers themselves part of the minority that they are writing about. 66 to 70 is Girlfriend's Choice. 71 to 75 is adult fantasy. As you can see, most of these are fantasy related because these are the books that I have and the books that I want to read. 75 to 80 is newest to collection, so the book that most recently have come into my house. 81 to 85 is random number generator. I have written down all of my unread books and then I will literally just pick a number from the internets. And 86 to 90 is once again chance cards. So yes, these are the prompts. Let's jump straight into the numbers that I picked for January.
Have a new round of TBR Tombola.
So the first number that I picked for January was 31, which is a high/epic fantasy. And for that, I will finally be reading Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. This is an Indian-inspired adult fantasy where we are following a set of princesses on the day of their coronation. However, in this specific country, they have to go through a certain set of trials and tests, and one of these is to sit upon a burning throne where only the true heir can sit. However, on the day of the coronation, a demon shows up with an additional princess who may take the throne, and I have heard amazing things about this one. Not a whole lot of reviews up on Booktube or BookTok. I don't think I've ever heard it mentioned on BookTok, but it is one of those adult fantasies that I'm just like, ooh, I just want to read it. And also the perfectly floppiness of this just makes me want to even more. I absolutely picked this up because of Starla Reads though, so there's that. Next number I picked was 8, which is a YA fantasy, and for that I have picked my beloved Tessa Gratton. This is Strange Grace, which I believe holds a polyamorous relationship. That's at least what I've been told by one of my friends. I believe this is about a small village in the middle of a forest that yearly sort of gives up a young man to the forest so that they can continue living there. And then I believe it's about childhood friends to lovers, and then an additional boy that sort of appears. And I've heard good things and I'm very excited about it. I hate this cover though, but Tessa Gratton is one of my absolute faves. I adore their adult fantasy, but I haven't read a whole lot of their YA fantasy, so I'm excited about this one.
66.
Then the next number was 66, which is A Girlfriend's Choice. And for that, I allowed her to pick between these 4 books. We have Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. We have The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry by C.M. Wagnermere. And we have Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. And we have Serpentine by Philip Pullman. And she decided, instead of picking 1, I'm apparently picking 2 because this is tiny and she said I could read it in half an hour, and I probably can. So these are the 2 books that we are reading. We are reading Serpentine by Philip Pullman, which is a short companion novel set in his Dark Materials universe. I believe this is set after the events of the Amber Spyglass, and I believe that we are following Lyra and Pan as they are sort of setting out to rejoin themselves together. And if you know me, you know that I absolutely adore his Dark Materials. The first trilogy has an absolute whole chunk of my heart held dearly, and the newer series is one that is absolutely like, ugh, such goodness. And if you've never read his Dark Materials, it is basically a magical realism series set in a world much like our own, but where each human have a daemon, which is an animal companion that is basically a personification of your soul. And we are following Lyra as she sets out to save one of her friends. She ends up in the Antarctic. She makes friends with an armored bear whose name is Yorick, who I love with my whole heart. And I'm excited about reading this one. Also, it is signed by Philip Pullman. And these little ones, they have like, yes, things. Oh, I have apparently put this in wrong. Okay, well, it's here and I'm reading it. And then, Yes, apparently I'm also reading Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. This is a horror thriller, I believe some contemporary fantasy about a young girl who with her mother returns to the small town that her mother grew up in. However, her mother seems to have some secrets that Margot has never heard of, and it's just, I absolutely loved Wilder Girls, and I want to read the creepy things. I've also believed that there is bio-pansexual rep in here, so I'm excited.
65.
Next number was 65, which is Ownvoices, and for that I will be reading A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Becky Chambers is one of my auto-buy authors. I absolutely adore everything she has ever written. I don't think I've ever read anything where I don't love it, and this is the beginning of a new set of novellas called the Monk and Robot series. In this one, we are following a young non-binary monk in a futuristic setting who is sort of like this tea servant, but they are looking for something and they don't know quite what that is. So they go out into the wilderness, and there they meet this robot, and robots have not been seen by humanity for eons, because ever since they sort of found their own sentience, they went out into the universe and was like, we don't want anything more to do with you. But now one of them has returned to try and figure out what it is that humanity really needs. And I have started this one already because it is technically the 2nd of January, and I love it with my whole heart so much. This is just, I'm hoping to finish it tonight, and it's just... Her other novella, To Be Taught If Fortunate, that I read last year is literally like, I'm still thinking about it, and it's less than 100 pages long. And last but not least is number 55, which is a new release, and for that I will be reading A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This is a new contemporary fantasy or historical fantasy, maybe. This is from Middlegrade. It's very shiny because it has this beautiful clear cover. Look at this. This is so cool. Yes, so historical fantasy. I believe that we are following a young man who is trying to sort of keep his family going, and he accidentally ends up being the correspondent to this magical society. However, things are going wrong, and he may have some feelings for a young magical man, and I have just heard exceptional things about this one, and I'm very excited about reading it. And now it is time for the Arc Jar poll. That's a wonderful sound. Okay, here we go. I wrote them all down yesterday. We are going in. Each one. Here we go. Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which is the sequel to Our Violent Delights that I read last year, that I actually really enjoyed. So I'm actually quite excited about this. Yay for picking a book. And that is the end of this TBR video for you guys. Look at my nice little stack. Additionally to that, I have obviously also reading Our Violent Ends, which I only have as an e-arc. But this is a solid start to the year. I am just trying to have a nice time, okay? I'm going into 2022 very gently. I am not with too much hope. I'm just trying to get through it and have a nice time, okay? So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell which gives you a notification when I put up a new video, which I promise I will try to do more often because I actually like making videos. But if you enjoyed my TBR game, please do stay around. I try to make weekly vlogs, so if you like looking into those, then stay along for the ride, and then I hope you guys are okay. I hope you have had a wonderful new year, and I feel like maybe 2020 will be better. We can hope. But take care of yourself. I'm proud of you. I'll see you soon.